Welcome back to the Ticket Setup series. Today's session, we're going to focus in on part 3 of adding dynamic tasks to a lifecycle. So in part 1, we talked about the challenges as to why you would want to add dynamic tasks to a lifecycle. We highlighted a new hire example where, based upon department, we want to add different tasks inside of our account provisioning phase. In part 2, we worked through setting up the actual Power Automate flow to dynamically add those tasks to the lifecycle and the account provisioning phase. Now in part 3, we're going to see it all come together and see how both the end user as well as the agent would work with this new experience. So what we'll do to highlight that is we'll shift over to a couple of personas. So here we have Adele on the left-hand side. She is my end user who will be submitting the new hire process. And then we have Diego here on the right-hand side who will be receiving that new hire request and working on it. So what Adele here will do is go to Tikit Virtual Agent and initiate that new hire. In a previous setup series section, we created a new hire automation template, and we linked that to a knowledge article. And the phrase we're using is something just very simple to bring back this particular new hire process. And once retrieved, Adele will go and fill out this new hire. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to choose the department, and we're going to choose specifically operations. And when we submit this, what's going to happen is that Power Automate flow is going to trigger. It's going to know that we selected operations, and based upon that selection, it will then add that operations account setup to my account provisioning phase. Let's go ahead and fill out the rest of this form, and we'll go ahead and submit that to see that live here. So when we submit that, ticket number 41 will be created. And when this ticket is created, Power Automate is now listening and has been triggered off of this ticket. And there's a couple of things happening here. So the first is we're going to actually dynamically add an approval to this lifecycle in the in the approval phase. That was the first part of that flow that we saw in part 2. That was what we set up in the other setup series. And what you're seeing on the left-hand side here is that approval has come through here. So Diego has been made the approver because he is Adele's manager in Microsoft Entra. This is also my way of knowing that that Power Automate flow has triggered and has evaluated the entire lifecycle. Now on the right-hand side here, you'll see that ticket number 41 has been created. And what we'll do here is we'll move into ticket 41 to take a look and see what has happened to that particular ticket. So if I go over to my new hire automation lifecycle, I'll see that I have those two phases. So here's my dynamic approval that was added. And then here is my account provisioning phase. And what you'll see here is the addition of my create operational account task. And again, that was added because when Adele filled out this form, she chose operations. And in my business, anyone that's in the operational department that's a new hire needs this particular task for the account provisioning phase to completely fulfill this new hire process. Now you can use this base example for any business process. And again, this can evaluate any part of a ticket or any part of a form and then dynamically shift that lifecycle to add tasks and or approvals across the system. Last thing I want to highlight here is that there is a audit trail of these things happening. So if I move back over to the activity tab here, you'll see that after the ticket was created, some dynamic things were done to that ticket. And one of those was adding that operational account. Really hope you enjoyed the session. Looking forward to seeing you in other setup series sections. And if you have any questions, please email team@tikit.ai.